So welcome, Mark and Liam of Whysup.
Hello, Michaela.
Hi. For my listeners, I just want to say, me, Mark and Liam all went to school together, so I might be a bit giddier because
Me too.
I always you don't sound giddy at all. I should have given you a bump.
I'm more nervous because you know us.
Yes, we're going to get the real gossip now. I've got all sorts of... You're going to laugh at the quick fire round questions, some of them anyway. So, first of all, we'll do this quick fire round.
Right.
So you just have to answer straight away, both of you at the same time as well.
Oh.
Whichever one it is. I mean, they're really, honestly, some of them are dead sensible. There's just one that made me laugh. So you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, ready.
Don't try and read them, Mark.
No, go on,
Look at him
I can't read, so I'm not.
Right, meditation or gym?
Gym.
Meditation.
University or apprenticeship?
Apprenticeship.
Apprenticeship.
Recruitment or recovery?
Recovery.
That was fast and well done.
Yeah.
Employed or self-employed?
Self-employed.
Instagram or YouTube?
Instagram.
Oh, you've not finished the rest of this question. White lightning or 2020?
2020.
White lightning.
Come on.
None, actually.
Yeah, I know.
I
Yeah.
just realised.
It's all coming out
I
now.
used to drink white lightning with you when we were about 15.
Yeah, that's it. Liam's still hitting the 2020. Brexit or Remain?
Brexit. Remain.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
That's a common answer, Liam, don't worry. Having kids young or old?
Young.
Stable or impulsive?
Impulsive.
Stable.
Really? You kept a straight face.
You're such a liar, Mark. Money or success?
Success.
Success.
Night out or night in?
9.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Mark, it's definitely night out.
Quick fire, not slow
I know,
fire.
yeah. You're supposed to say what...
Night out
Good man.
At the cinema.
So, I just want to... Right, okay, so I need to say what you do first, and then I want to talk about that. So, you've both been ex-addicts.
Yeah.
Liam, your vice was...
Drink drugs.
Mark.
Gambling. And a few other vices, but the main one that brought me.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm
Yeah.
thinking that. There's been a few others along the way, but...
No, gambling was my sort of thing that brought me to my knees.
And how long have you both been in recovery?
Me, 6 years. This summer is coming up to 6 years since I went to rehab and I've not relapsed. I've tried to be in recovery for 13 years, so I first started when I was 21, but I kept relapsing and relapsing.
Oh, really?
So 6 years ago I went to rehab and that's my last bet.
And what about you, Liam?
Mine's not that long. I went to rehab about just over 2 years ago, but I didn't do so well when I come out of rehab. It went a bit worse.
Did you relapse then?
Yeah, a good few times, like, yeah.
And
I
so
did.
how long have you, since your last relapse?
Since my last relapse, about a year.
Oh, right, okay. But still, congratulations.
Yeah.
But so that's why I wanted to ask you, when you were saying then about the drinking, for those who don't know, white lightning is a cider and 2020 is just, I don't even know what it is, just something that gets you hammered.
Is it? It's just a pink, oh, is it 2020?
2020?
It's not a vodka, is it? But
It's like an alcoholic cordial.
Yeah,
Isn't it though?
it is definitely targeted at teenagers,
yeah,
isn't
of
it?
course it is.
But you was like, oh, I shouldn't say anything, so do you not drink now?
No, I've not had a drink for 2.5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you've
yeah.
stopped the drink way before,
Yeah, the drink was easier to stop, to be honest.
and so than the coke?
Drugs, yeah.
Is that what it was, coke?
It was, yeah. I had a few other things along the way, because like I was taking some. At the end, I was like taking other prescription stuff to manage the day-to-day ups and downs as well. So, but yeah, coke was like bad. But yeah, I've not had a drink for like maybe just over 2.5 years. I've not had a drink for. Don't have any food, nothing like yeah. So.
My mum always said to me, never trust somebody who doesn't drink. But I think I
She's
trust you
probably
more now
right,
that
she's
you don't
probably
drink.
right, she's probably right. Your mum didn't
Your
make
mum with a
should've
glass
met
of
me when I
wine.
was
Never
drinking.
trust anyone holding a wine.
Who doesn't drink? Get it smashed back. And what about you, Mark? So you still drink, didn't you?
I still drink, yeah, but in a much more responsible way, if there is a responsible way. So because I was gambling all the time, I used drink and drugs as an escape, so I get absolutely levered to sort of forget my problems.
What, after you'd like lost some money? Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. So I'd usually gamble Monday to Friday, and then weekends I didn't really gamble. It was more. In fact, I probably gambled on a Saturday, but it was more.
So Sundays, just when you were off.
Yeah, when I was in bed. I
when you
couldn't
when you
gamble.
couldn't be asked getting out of bed.
Yeah. No, but for me it was more escape. I used it as an escape, whereas now my intentions are a lot different. So I might go and have a few pints and watch the football in a pub. It's not to go out and get levered, so I drink in a different fashion.
Yeah. And you've never relapsed then for 6 years?
No, for me gambling. So obviously Liam touched on then that he'd relapsed, but that was really Liam's first time in recovery.
Yeah.
My first time in recovery, he always says, Mark didn't relapse, I was a success, but I tried fellowship meetings, which is like Gamblers Anonymous, and it wasn't that didn't work. It was I was probably not ready. I was a 21-year-old lad.
Yeah.
When I reached the point of going into rehab at 28, I'd had enough.
Yeah.
And it was like, I always say it was life or death for me, that it was like, I would have either wanted to take my own life, someone would have taken my life because of the mess that I was in.
Yeah, I do kind of remember all this chaos.
Yeah, yeah.
My neighbour was telling me all about you.
Yeah, well, of
Well,
course,
like
yeah.
folklore, I say this sometimes, me, whenever, because obviously me and Mark, we have mutual friends and kind of cross paths. We weren't like side by side all the way through.
Yeah.
And every time you'd meet up with someone who knew Mark, there'd be a new story, a new this, a new that, and they were like little folklore, like what's he been up to, and there'd be another tale come out about him.
I just heard so much stuff, and because obviously I always got on with you both at school, and you was both relatively normal as well. You weren't like the naughty ones in school.
Yeah.
You obviously you had your son Callum at 15, was
15,
you?
yeah.
So that was a bit out there,
Yeah,
and not so normal.
that-
But other than that, you just both like played football and
Normal lads.
yeah, you just.
That's-
You just cracked on, but you was clever as well when you Liam. You was like in upper band.
Me
and
that,
that.
why not?
No, you were in lower band. You were in athletics there.
That's because I was busy getting girls pregnant.
Yeah. Instead of revising.
Yeah, I was all right at school. I'll be honest with you, I coasted through school really.
Yeah.
I wasn't there a lot in sort of fifth year and all that. When I went to school, I honestly thought I had everything stitched up because I was popular with a few different groups. You know what I mean? I was one of them. I was with a few different groups. Wasn't really naughty or really sort of swatty. I was kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And I had teachers on side me. Like I used to get signed out by the deputy head every day. You know what I mean? Like I honestly thought I had everything stitched up at school, and I did. I'm not being a knob.
No, you can swear. Yeah, don't worry. It's
I'm
my
not-
podcast,
yeah,
Liam. Of course you can.
I'm glad we cleared that up early. I'm not being like an idiot when I say this, but I didn't put that much effort in. I just kind of like got through, and I was all right. I did
And then
all right,
you
like-
did your A levels as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Did A levels, degrees, all that.
Did you do a degree?
Yeah,
You got uni. Yeah. What did you do?
Building, surveying, and property management.
But then, so a minute ago, then when we did that quick fire, you was like, apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So you've
'Cause
changed
at
your mind
60
since then.
I knew I shouldn't have done it then. I spoke to my mum at 16 and I said, I can't do this, I need to do an apprenticeship. I told mum I was losing my mind at 16.
Really?
Yeah, because I'd started everything then, that's the thing. Like,
Had you?
Yeah.
So like when
I
we
didn't
were...
know, I didn't know this.
No, I
when
didn't.
he came living with me and the wheels came off from
I
my
was taking
truck top.
class A's at school.
No, you wasn't, Liam.
I was, honestly.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I
I
was
mean,
like
I used
that.
sometimes to get pissed before school. I think we all
Yeah.
did though at some
Um,
point. I remember I was stoned for my French exam,
Yeah, no.
but not like class A.
I remember finding out one of the lads, I won't mention him on here, had taken a class A in school and I didn't speak to him.
What do you mean?
As
Like
in
an E?
An ecstasy,
Pills,
and I was
really,
like, how
that's
can you
like
do
that.
that? And people had I remember this stuff with like Leah Betts and stuff like that, so I was very anti-drugs me.
I had it
Because
from
my
all my
football-
mates because we all smoked weed and,
Yeah.
and they were all anti-class A's, but I had like an older group outside and this, that and the other and stuff, so yeah, I'd already gone on it then.
Oh my god! So
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you didn't want to go to uni because
No,
was
I
you
didn't
like,
wanna
oh, it's
go.
not for you, or was you just like, oh,
I didn't like academics, I didn't like school and all that stuff, but I knew, honestly, I knew, and I said to me, I remember saying to my mum, I don't want to go to college, I don't want to go to uni, but my mum had to fight for her education,
yeah,
like, and she put like a lot of value on it, and she says, you don't know how lucky you are to have the brain to do it, and she said, so you need to do it, it'll open doors. But I'd seen what happened when people got uni, do you know what I mean? Like, I knew what uni life was.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do it. And I remember having the conversation, and she said if you don't do it, you're going to have to go, like, and she weren't being harsh, like, and I don't think she meant it, but I remember saying it.
Yeah,
I
no,
remember
but
the
she
conversation,
thinks she's doing the best for you, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
yeah,
But
yeah,
not realising.
So, and then exactly what I thought had happened probably 10 times worse in a way. Like, I knew I'd abuse it. I would abuse in school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I knew I could course. I knew I'd have loads of spare time, and I had a lot of money when I was at uni. So I knew what was going to happen. So yeah. So when I say apprenticeships, I'm like, but too many people go to uni and do courses that lead to nothing, and then in my opinion, they've gone for nothing. I think it has to be about vocation for me, and I don't think you should necessarily have to know what you want to be forever at 16, but I think it should guide you down a path. Whereas there's, you can go to uni.
Honestly, I totally agree. Like, I did go to uni. I went the year after you, so I took a year out. I'm doing religion and special needs. For reasons I can't be asking into, yeah. But yeah, so, but when I just did it really because nobody in my family had been to uni, and at that time as well, I was like, I wanted to be an RE teacher because of Miss Mackay, actually. I know, everybody
I
hated
see
it.
her in church sometimes with kids.
Oh, you're joking?
Yeah,
honestly, you've got to ask her if she'll give you her email address for me because.
It's on a podcast.
No, yeah, get her on the pocket. No, because I was asking Mr. O'Neill and all these little teachers if they'd give me details. So I just wanted to thank her, actually. She was like, obviously everybody has different shit going on at school, like you wouldn't know about it, and so I had shit going on as well, and she was like a bit of a mentor and counsellor for me. So I thought, I want to do that for other people. So I knew though I needed to go to uni because I needed a degree to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And in that instance, then it's fine to go to uni, but like with yourself, where it's your parents or your upbringing and people like, you should go, and then you do media studies and then end up working in Asda's. It's not really the right message to send out, is it? I would always be for apprenticeship. What did you do at school?
Apprenticeship. Went sixth form.
So you got sixth form?
Yeah.
What,
yeah.
resitting? You didn't
No.
do it that far?
No, I did for my first. Listen,
Resitting, amazing.
no, basically at school I didn't try because I thought I was going to be a footballer, and literally I just didn't try. I didn't curve.
Yeah, you was good. You played for Interleague and that, didn't you?
Played for Interleague, Man City, Town Team, County. So I had a Callum at 15. Had my first bet at that age. Was sort of reintroduced to my dad around that age, who was a gambler as well. So I had some like major life events at that time. But then did all right in my GCSEs, and Mum were like, well, "You've done all right considering you're not trying. You should stay on."
I love the difference in the parent in reaction, like your mum's surprised, like, "Oh,
yeah,
continue."
Yeah. Like a few months before, my mum was actually a family planning nurse, and I had a kid at 15, so that don't make as much sense.
Oh my
yeah.
God. The irony.
Well, I tell this story sometimes. She actually at 14, so the year before I had a kid, she brought me some condoms home, and I went in school and made water bombs with her.
Oh my God.
So that is where that got me.
But you wouldn't change it now, though, obviously.
Would I? No. But yeah, so I did all right. Went to sixth form, more to play football, and then after a year, left. I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. It was more like go that way. In all honesty, my head was spinning that much because I'd had a Callum.
Yeah.
So on GCSEs, when there was, I think we got a few hours in between exams.
Yeah, we did.
I'd go to our Callums and be feeding them. I've got photos with my uniform on.
Oh my God.
And I look at my youngest, Mackenzie, now, who's in 5th year, who's still a little boy, and I think, Red Dad at his age.
I know, that was him, I know. Well, that was you, I mean.
Yeah.
I think it's mad, like, you've got kids, I've got kids. I know how hard it is at 30 odd.
Yeah, I know.
So when I think about, God, it's just, I
That's
can't
it.
even imagine.
I'm 35 and I have like a decent enough job and that, but I'm still with Grace and that. Oh my God. It's still, you have stressful times, sleepless nights and all that. So at 15-year-old, when all your mates are playing out still.
Yeah.
Like literally, at 15 I was still playing out.
Yeah. Well, it's mad actually, because when I was walking in here, I said, God, it reminds me of being a kid, this. But what it actually reminds me of walking in here is family planning's there.
Yeah.
So that's where I found out. And from that moment, this is... The guy said to me when I found out, he said, it's positive. I said, what does that mean? The test.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, that's it. And I went and sat on Queen's Park for like 2 hours, crying with Michaela and just crying, going, what we're going to do, what we're going to do. And then went home. So then I learned to have this secret for 2 weeks. My mum thinking, Mark, what's up? She's thinking I've taken drugs. She's thinking I couldn't tell her for 2 weeks. I thought she'd be disappointed. But again, around that time is when I had my first bet and gambling in the bookies was the only place in the world that I felt like I weren't being judged or people won't
Really?
think bad of me.
Yeah.
So I literally could go in there and think, no problems, and then I'd walk back out the door and think, oh, I'm going to be a dad.
So both of you though, you both started at a similar age then.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
your addictions and
Yeah,
started
yeah.
really, what I would think is really young, because I thought with you both, at least like when you like left uni, or do you know like when you're like 20 odd.
That's when the stories start to come out, but really the foundations are set prior to that, aren't they?
Yeah, I think
it's in secret really when you start.
Yeah, I think like you sort of set a pattern in place when you're younger that then your addiction can latch onto almost, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you're in like this routine, innit?
Yeah,
So a lot of
yeah,
addiction is breaking a routine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it because
Yeah.
that's just what you're used to doing. So you have to get a totally different life because that's all you've been, and from such a young age as well, then the routine's well embedded, isn't it? Especially for you, because that's gone on for a very long time.
19 years drinking drugs.
Fucking hell. And so do you not feel proper fresh now?
It's a bit weird really, like physically and like in terms of being productive and all that stuff, yeah, because like I don't have this thing pulling me back, but then on the other hand, mentally and sort of emotionally sometimes, like I find it hard because I've never probably felt anything to full effect because I've always had drink and drugs on the eyes, the lows and the bits and the
Yeah.
stuff. And so like now, I feel like sometimes like I feel like everything. I feel like the volume's been turned up on my head and my emotions sometimes, and it's quite hard. Like it's up and down. I do find that hard sometimes. But
Would you think that you would have perhaps have a mental illness with both of you, and that's what's gone into this, or do you think it's circumstance? Because obviously there wasn't like a mental illness thing when we was younger, not like it is now.
Yeah.
So do you think if perhaps do you think it was something like that?
No, I think I still would have gambled. I think my life was plain sailing. I lived with my mum. I was good at football. I liked girls. And it was like everything was just going well. And then the first bit of stress that came in my life, I just couldn't handle it.
I mean, it's a big amount. That's a life changer for.
Yeah.
I got pregnant with Harrison. He was 29 and his head fell off at 29. You know, and he's got his job and everything, and he's like, and his head went with it. So at 15, that is a bit of a.
Yeah, but I remember being a kid of about 9-year-old falling through a skylight in a school roof and landing in the classroom, and my mates having like get me out, and worrying like mad and not telling anybody. So instead of just going home or telling me it was like this thing and bottling it up, so I never really handled stress well, and I think I just developed a dysfunctional way of dealing with stress. And it was like, if I can't handle anything, so as much as that was a major life event, I didn't really handle stress well. Every little bit
But then
of
you
stress.
don't really know how to with that if you've not had it. We really like when you're a child, you have little bits of stress, don't you? Where you'll fall off your bike, or you lose the game of football, or there'll be little bits of things that go on, and then it's so you learn to manage these little bits. So then when you get into an adult at whatever age, then you have a child, you're a bit more prepared for all these bits. But if both of you have sat here and said it was just plain sailing, all of it's just like been plain sailing, and then you go bump something. But what happened with you? What was your?
So like, you see, my answer's it's similar to what Mike was just saying then, but you see, I think looking back, I genuinely think I always had this thing of fitting in. I genuinely think that, like, and I also had that thing that a lot of lads grow up with, which is like wanting to be alright, look alright, see alright. Do you know what I mean? I had, I don't know, I just, my own life, I'm not saying it was bad in any way, but I think I was aware that it wasn't necessarily normal quite early on. And so like, I always like tried to, because I seen everyone else's setups, do you know what I mean? And it was different. And so I think that was always there. So like, I always wanted to look alright, I always wanted to, I don't know, like I just always felt like I needed to present myself.
Do you know what's so weird is I felt exactly the same as you. I would have felt exactly the same, and so I would have had been friends with all different people and never had just a close knit group of friends. I would just, because it was like this need for acceptance.
Yeah.
And then it was Kieran actually I was talking to a couple of years ago, and he was like, oh yeah, you had it all got put together or whatever when you was a kid. I had no money. When you're a kid, you see everybody else as being better than you in some way, and like, so I need, and we was growing up, we were getting free school uniforms and free dinners, and you know at school it's that embarrassing, isn't it? So I was always feeling really like, oh, we don't have anything and we're so poor, and I want to prove that I've got
Makes
something.
you overcompensate.
Yeah. And then, but so looking at you, I would have thought like you had everything. You lived in a fancy area in Bolton. Like you seemed like you were dead good in school and stuff. So me judging you as a child, I would never have thought you didn't have it together.
See, it's mad. This is the thing. This is that pretending thing, because I just had what I'd want to describe as a bit strange setup. Loved and all that. I'm not like questioning any of that. But like you said, then lived in a fancy area. I have moved house 3 times when I was at Thornley because my dad got sent down, and so.
Did it?
Exactly. So my dad. So I always had this thing of fitting in. Then this thing come up. I'd already started using drinking drugs. My dad got sent down overnight. Didn't live with us and all that and stuff.
What, had your mum and dad separated?
Yeah, he'd never lived with us when I was growing up, like, and I never knew where my dad lived, which was a bit weird. It's a bit mad. But my dad was always a figure in Bolton. He was always.
You don't fit, it's bad, isn't it? When
My
you
dad was always a bit of a
was
figure
together
around here. He was a well-known businessman and all that sort of stuff, and successful. But I like I say, it was just I knew that wasn't what everyone else had, and so one Friday morning he picked me up. We went for a McDonald's breakfast before school, which was like really weird. And I remember sitting opposite, and he just said, "Look," he said, "something's come up. I'm in court today. It might be in the paper, but it'll be all right." And then I went to school, and I come home. My mum put us on a train to Brighton to stay with my sister who was at uni, and we got a phone call. Your dad's gone down for 7 years. That was it, done. So.
And you never actually knew why at that time? Then?
I didn't know anything at that time. I didn't even know there was anything going on. And then because of the way it was, like with my dad and all that sort of stuff, obviously a proud man, like, and so he didn't want anyone to know, even though it was in paper. It was a bit weird. So we pretended he weren't.
Oh, right.
So it was like, it was dead weird. So like, I was in school on Monday, like totally everything was normal, and
did nobody know? I didn't know about it.
No, I didn't tell anyone. Didn't tell anyone.
You don't really read papers when you're in school, do you?
No, not really.
I did.
But the thing is, like, wouldn't you think like teachers or someone had seen it or said, you know, this, that, and the other, and there were none of that, and and we just pretended. That's the only way I can describe it, really. Like,
but then again, why did your mum not say something to the teachers? It'd be like, listen, this is because normally they say this is going on at home. You know, if somebody dies, and they're like, so keep your eye on them. Or
I don't know. It was just a really strange time, and like we didn't really speak about it in the house. It was like if we pretended it wasn't. You know.
And did you never go visiting him or anything?
Yeah. It was horrible. Yeah, regularly. Like, but he weren't in a local nick. Like he was. I think it was that he ended up in Stoke. So. Yeah, we'd drive there and back like at Christmas and Easter, and like, it was horrible.
Oh God.
But I'm not blaming any of that. It's just that's just one of them things. But what I was trying to get to was like, so I'd already started drinking drugs a bit by then. But then this, like, I've said it to Mark a few times when we've been presenting. Like, I think it's just a perfect storm, a bit like your perfect storm. You know, I'd formed this relationship with drinking drugs. Something come up. I needed to pretend I was all right. And so I am with that more, like it just kind of all sort of all set a path off. Do you know what I mean?
So was you just like at first you were just having what was your thing?
Weed and drink, like weed and alcohol really to set off. But like I honestly think I think I'm like the addict through and through me. Like whatever I turn my hand to, I've got to do 120%. And even at that young age,
like you have an addictive. I've definitely got an addictive personality. I would never touch drugs, and the reason is,
said that to me.
100%, because I think if I did, I'd just like be a heroin addict. I'd just go completely overboard. So I just would never do it. Like there'll be times when I will just go at it with drink. And then I'll be like, oh God, I've had a drink every day for 3 months. I mean, I really shouldn't. But it doesn't seem like an issue. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not getting hungover anymore. I should stop. But the same, I think it makes you successful in business as well.
I think you can put it to different things that can be positive. But But like even at that young age, like drinking and drugging and all that sort of stuff, I think I wanted to blow my head off all the time. Like I just couldn't, and I honestly thought, I've said this a few times, like I thought that was something I could do well, and it made me fit in with a lot of people, like you know, like a lot of crowds and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it's like this perfect storm that went on. But yeah, you know, pretending to be alright, like this double life type thing going on, fitting in, and also not dealing with what's going on. You know,
so then you leave university and you're like deeply in the midst of you're an addict at this point. And then did you start so you had a recruitment company? Did you start that straight away?
No. So when I went to uni, my dad had just come back, and I didn't really want to move away. So I got an house and rented rooms out, and it was in a particular area, and so it was like, I'll be honest with you, I think that's where everything just went boom, like, you know, like everything set off on a path then, like sort of really hammered it. But I finished uni, obviously I've been with Vicky since I was young. Vicky knew nothing of what was going on. I finished uni, and then when I finished uni, I think I always thought the next big milestone had stopped me and made me behave, so like getting a professional job or getting Vicky to move in. I always thought that, well, I'll stop, and I weren't really. But no, I finished uni and got into a building surveying, like professional job, and went down that road. And then with the construction industry, as you'll know, we worked in like education, building colleges and stuff. And it got like, all the funding got pulled, I don't know if you remember it, it'd be about 11 years ago, 12 years ago. And at that time, that's when I jumped into recruitment. My dad had a firm, and it was taking a hit really.
This is since he's come out of prison, he started.
And so we, I said, he always was apprehensive about me working with him, because he's like, look, if it doesn't work and this, that, and that. And I said, look, I'm an opportunity here, my industry's on its arse, like. I said, now's the time, let me come in and see what I can do. And so that's when I went in, yeah. So.
But that was really successful in the end, your recruitment?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, we built it up to a national. We were number one in the sector. We brought it up to a national business. We had 30 odd staff. We refurbished a whole suite of offices. We worked all over the country.
And throughout you still bang at it?
Yeah.
It's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah. I had periods where I'd like kind of drop off, but it'd be when I switched to something else. So like if I was like training or something, like. So you still did all my martial art type boxing stuff, so like I'd focus on that and think, right, well that's stopping me. But that just got out of control as well, you know, like so it's like I always had to, but yeah, it was always, and at first it was more like I'd be good for a bit and then I'd binge like mad and getting a load of, and then you're down, but then it just got to a point, it was just 24/7, so yeah, it went good really.
And then what about you, Mark? So you've had your kids, you did your A-levels, dropped out.
Yeah, so around that time when I had my first bet, I won. The first time I ever gambled, I won a lot of money. My dad gave me £100 and said, that's your gambling money for today. And I was like, what do you mean? I remember putting 50 in that pocket for some trainers and thought, I'll just gamble with this money in this pocket. And I won about 400 quid. At the time, I was already looking at prams. I had a job cleaning pots and raking leaves, and then a job at Originals. I earned about 30 quid a week. We were looking at brand for like 500 quid. I was like, how am I going to afford this? So when I won this money, I honestly thought, oh, I'm good at this is a way out. So from that time then, from me, sort of at college when we were at sixth form, I used to always sneak off to Blackburn Road and go to Ladbrokes. No one really knew it then. And I was sort of making it like I was good, so I'd only tell people my wins that I'd had. I'd never tell them about my losses. Then I dropped out of college and went for an apprenticeship, and that was more so because my family were going, you need to get a job. Didn't really want to be an electrician. Wasn't passionate about it one bit, but went to college. But when I went in for my interview, the director said, are you sure you don't want to come in the office? And he knew a family member of mine and said, I really want him in the office. I said, no, I'll try it on site. Went on building site with 30 lads, loved the crack with the lads. Weren't really focusing on my work, but I'll give you an example of things that were happening at that time. I started gambling heavy. I started borrowing money off family members.
So he was like 18 at this point?
Yeah. Payday loans. In fact, I don't think it was payday loans, it was more like overdrafts, loans, and family members. And then I'd be the apprentice that went for all the sandwiches on site. So I'd like get 30 guys go around, what do you want, bacon and egg? I had this big list. And I had about 60 odd quid of change. And I thought, I'm going to go to the bookies with it. I'm going to win it. I'll win here. I gambled every penny. And I remember the last dog, watching this dog, thinking, I've got to go back with no sandwiches for him. I remember ringing Jordan O'Shaughnessy saying, where are you? I need some money. I've gambled all dinner money. He was actually crying, laughing on the umbrella. Going, you've done what? I'm like, oh mate, please help me. He said, I can't, I'm not, he was too far away. I had to walk back. And I just said, I couldn't say anything. They were like, where have you been? I should have been back at 10 to 1, it was 1:30. And they was like, where have you been? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I had my hands up, I'm sorry. And they're going, he's gambled it, and I went.
So did they know you as a gambler?
They knew that I was gambling a lot, but it was more bravado with me going, oh, I've done this, really, I was losing money hand over fist. So that was like the first time really that I remember something really going wrong with me gambling.
Where it had repercussions, like?
Yeah, and feeling really embarrassed. Because
so then why did you continue?
I just, again, that way of thinking, that was my way out. So I was doing an apprenticeship at the time, £100 a week, trying to bring a son up. At that time, I'd had another son with another girl, so I weren't doing it by halves. I had no money, so I had 2 kids. I was £100 a week. I had to pay for my own travel to Manchester. That cost me 30 quid a week. I had about 30 quid over for food, anything else. It just wasn't a lot. It wasn't enough, and I always used to think I'll gamble. So I was just into everybody for money and always making things up that didn't exist.
Yeah, I know. So I know a few stories.
Yeah.
The truth behind it, I don't know the full truth. I've never really spoke to you about them. But I heard you was, so then you got into being a quantity surveyor?
Yes, so from the being an electrician, on my second year I had 6 months off work, and I thought I was going to get sacked. And I literally, it's mad, the day I thought I need to sort my head out, and I was staying at my nan's at the time, and Mum kicked me out. And I went for a jog, I went to my granddad's grave and I was like, please help me, I'm in trouble. And I got back home, and the director from Barrett's had rang up, who said, why don't you come in the office? And said, why don't you come in the office instead of being off on the sick? And I was like, so I ended up getting a job as an estimator in the office, worked my way up over 3 years, and did pretty well there, and then sort of got poached from another company that was in construction, but asked me to be a QS, and they put me through uni. So I'd be about 19, 20 at this point. Went on to do that, but at this time, so I was going to work every day in a shirt and tie. So everyone thought, hey, you're all right, you. Underneath, my world was just crumbling. It was just based on bullshit. So I was always like, thought I had gift of the gab and was cheeky chappy and all that. Really, I was depressed. The wheels had well and truly come off. I was in debt. I was building mad debts with the wrong sort of people. And I used my position wearing a shirt and tie to make people think, oh, he's got a new company car, I'll give him money. So I started making things up that could get things. So I'd literally lose money in a bookmaker's, and then it'd just be like, right, I'm going to go and get some money. I could walk out of a bookies and I'd get money in minutes. Whether it was a phone call, I remember one time walking out of a bookmaker's thinking, I put £20 in a roulette machine, I was in a lot of debt at the time, and I got it up to £8,000. A Chinese man was behind me going, keep going, keep going. Now, I didn't need encouraging anyway, I would have kept going anyway, but I kept going. About an hour later, I'm holding onto the machine with this £8,000 just gone, and then just snapped into command mode and thought, I'm going to get some money. I walked out of the Charlie Hill Road bookies, walked down Charlie Hill Road, seen some Asian lads on the shell garage that I knew were involved in dodgy dealings but had money about them, and just walked straight over to them. And I still didn't know at that point what I was going to say to them, and I thought about it just as I was walking over. So they'd already shouted at me, I'd gone like that, and I just approached him and went, oh, I'm off going getting loads of mobile phones, nicked mobile phones, my mate's got a truck full, what phones are they? at the time it was 62.30s that were like the form to be. They were like, 62.30s? I can get them half price, this, that and other. I had £3,000 in my hand within about 5 minutes, walked straight back up the back street, plummeted it in, lost it and thought, oh my God, how am I going to get away with this?
£3,000? What, in a roulette machine?
In a roulette machine, and at that time a roulette machine, dogs, horses, I was just gambling and everything. I thought I'm going to have to front it. So I always look people in whites to their eyes, I was confident and...
Don't give away tips to people.
No, but...
This is the key.
Yeah, no, it was bad. I walked back on the shell garage and I said, I knew I shouldn't have got involved with it. He went, where have you been? I said, I knew I shouldn't have got involved with it. You either give me more money or I'm going to give you your money back. You need to buy so many to get them at this price. I've not got the money, blah, 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 blah. They didn't have to turn around and say, show me the money. They went, how much more money do you need? And I got another £2,000 off them. Walked straight back up the back street, lost it. In about an hour, my mum was on the phone. There's loads of Asians round at the house and all of that.
So what did you do?
I don't want to say on here. I got a phone call threatening my life. To be honest, that was one of the phone calls because he was very softly spoken, this guy. In all honesty, I just didn't have to pay it back.
You never gave it back? But it was drug money anyway, so...
Well,
it's not like
I don't want to say on here, but no, look, it's not about that. I've just never had it to give them back. But in reality...
I've been skinned since.
Yeah, but in reality, that pattern then went on. And in the end, I was selling fresh air. I was always selling fresh air.
No, I heard like, so my next door neighbour who used to live next door to me,
yeah.
He was saying like, I give him all this money because he's going doing fag runs.
Yeah.
And then
there were no fags.
There were no fags.
There were no fags.
And then there were no money back.
There were no fags. There were no iPads. There were no Man United tickets. There were no door handles.
And then you was guaranteeing work on site as well, saying, I'll get you on the site if you give me some money.
Yeah, so I'm promising people jobs. So I'd say to a roofer, I can get you this job. Probably had about 5 different roofing companies giving me money for the one job, and I weren't even decision maker.
But
anyway.
this is that. So when I know about this, I was like 27, 28, and this is when it all started falling apart for you, because then I heard like this has happened with Mark, but I heard it off people who was like, it's fucking bullshit. There's not saying you were basically you was going to kill yourself, but they were saying he's not doing. It's all for attention because you don't want to give me back. There's 10. I think you ordered this guy like 10 grand or something.
Well, do you know what?
So obviously you're going to get like a mass amount of hate from people, but is that actually was you going through that?
Well and truly deserved, and I totally get that. In all honesty, of course I was thinking about killing myself, but I totally get it was like because I couldn't handle the consequences. That's true.
Yeah.
But there'd be times around that time that I'd be going on the internet and looking at ways of doing it. So as much as people often say this thing of it's a cry for help, it's this, it's that, but there are people that like wanting to cry for help and go and do it.
Yeah.
So it's all right. I was at that stage. It wasn't because I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with the mess that I created or a bottle job. I couldn't turn around to these people. I was always waiting. So these people would give me money, large sums of money, 20, 30 grand in the end, and I'd be with them a lot of the time. And I knew I'd gamble the money, and they'd be like, well, when's that money coming in? And I'd be going, yeah, and I'd be like sending myself emails off blag accounts and showing them emails.
Oh my God.
So it was just this web of deceit and lies and thinking, they're going to speak to him, and then there'd be people walking.
I think that's what happened in the end, though, wasn't it? Then people started talking to each other, and everybody was like, "Well, he said he's doing this to me.
He's doing it to me." I know. I kept it for about 2 years, where all these people had given me this money, and they went, "He said this with me fags, and he said this with me iPads," and it just went bang. And that is the point where I couldn't handle it. I was literally going home to my house in Belmont and thinking, "I want to kill myself every day." And how mangled my head were at that point, saying to him the other day, my pots had built up in the sink, and I just get the pots out of the sink, put them in a bin bag and chuck them in the bin. And then I'd win some money and go and buy some new pots instead of washing them. Like, I couldn't bear just thinking I'm not washing pots. It was all just like, not one family member at that time was speaking to me, which I think were a massive part. I thought I've lost my mum was my best mate.
Because you'd gambled money as well.
I gambled her money years before. It wasn't that, she was just sick of
The
drama. Bearing in mind, in between that story, I went on the run to 2 different countries. When I was a QS on a Friday night, and on Monday I was washing pots in a kitchen in the Channel Islands. 3 days after that, he sacked his second chef, and I've got a chef uniform on. I can't even make toast without burning it. and I'm prepping this salad, so it's just... And I remember thinking, how am I here in the... It was just... My life was absolute nuts. And I went to a place where there's no bookies. My mum said there's a place called Sark. There's no bookmakers there, and I thought, oh, I'll be alright then. And I played cards.
Oh, it's nuts, isn't it? But you will find, if you're an addict, you'll find your vice anywhere you go.
Yeah, I would have bet on 2 cockroaches running up a wall. I would have bet on anything. So yeah, look.
Yeah, remember when I was at school, you used to play that coiny thing.
Yeah,
Maybe that's where it started for you.
Yeah.
Winning a couple of 2p's.
And I always lost. I've always been bad at it. Maybe that first time when I gambled, I won, and that was the thing. But after that, I lost every time. But yeah, so that lifestyle just caught up with me. When I was taking this money off people, I never thought I was ripping them off. Honest to God, on my kid's life. I always thought, as a gambler, I'll win, I'll give them the money back, I'll pay that, and there were times that I did. So people would give me large amounts of money, and the day after, I'd give them double. And they'd be like, what? You said it's going to be like 4 weeks, but it's because I won so much. They'd be going, like a big plastic bag full of money. Well,
I think that's what had happened with this bag run thing, because they said they give you money, and then you come back and they give you a bit, whatever it was, like £500, and then you give them double the money or whatever it was back. So then you went another time, oh, I'm going again, and so then they've gone bump and give you loads of money.
Yeah, they did.
And then you didn't give them anything back.
Yeah.
Did you ever give them that money back?
No, sorry. But, no.
Do you ever speak to any of these people?
Yeah, of course I do. Look, and we'll touch on the business side of things, but since rehab, I got an illness. I'm diagnosed in there. I was on benefits for 4 years.
Wow, what's your illness?
I've got inflammatory bowel disease, so colitis, and basically it was started going to the toilet a lot in rehab. In fact, I've been going to the toilet a lot when in the bookmakers.
Stress though, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's not like IBS. It's literally it's a disease what I've got, and I got diagnosed when I was in rehab. But it's because it's the first time that I'd slowed down and thought, my health's not right here. My mental health was just shot at. My physical health was shot at. I was properly broken. Like when I turned up at rehab, I was like, they said I walked in, fell on a chair and put my hands up and went, please help me. And that was like me just surrendering from me being a dad, and I don't want to say that's, do you know what I mean, but that stressful point at that in my life, to being 28-year-old, and all these people that I'd upset, who you might not believe, but I actually did like a lot of them. And people are like, you can't have thought that much of them. I love my addiction more than anything else.
Yeah.
More than my own family. And I love my family to bits, but I upset people along the way. So what I'm getting at is the money that I owed, that I thought I owed, was treble what I thought I owed. It was in hundreds of thousands when I got to rehab, and I thought it was less than 100, and they told me to write on a piece of paper, and I was like, kept going, and then the day after I remembered another 50 that I'd forgot. My head had just completely. So it's life-changing money, but it's not that I've wrote that money off. I've definitely not, and my intention is to pay every penny off, and I do believe through, I believe I had a talent of good people skills to get the gift of the gab to get it.
Yeah, you'd be a good salesman.
Yeah, you tried actually. In fact, when the wheels had well and truly come off in my mid-20s, I remember bumping into you, and you took me to your offices. You were in Legion, picked me up in the morning.
I don't remember. I was probably drunk. I'm an
addict. I drove to Everton, and you were like, you'll be sat there. Michaela's just like, I said, I'll come for a chat, and I bring Michaela's already got me a chair. I'm going to do this. I want all your contacts from construction.
Oh, no, I do remember, because you'd been a QS, hadn't you? So I was like, oh, he's going to know loads of people. Give us less than that.
And I sat down with you, and I was like, what? And to be honest, I knew I was just in all sorts of a mess, and I knew if I'd gone, I said, Michaela, I can't do it at this time and all that. But yeah, just absolutely.
It's a good job you swerved her out. She might have had me off. I would have had forgot
No.
you out. Did you ever get beat up?
Yeah.
A lot?
Not a lot, but I had I walked out of David Lloyd, this when I was about 22. And I owed some lads some money from Manchester. They asked for it, and basically, is he playing drums?
Yeah. That's who wants.
He's knocking on, going, "Where's my money?" No, he's building, I thought he was like building suspense up. I got this money off these lads. No, and they rang me and said, "Have you got the money?" I tried to start this mad spiel, and they put the phone down on me. They must have thought, "You're full of shit, you." Walks out of the gym. How they found me, I don't even know, and just whacked me with a lump hammer over my head. I remember a car door going, opening, and I looked that way, and I'd looked the wrong way basically, and I went to turn that way.
Story of his life.
Yeah, and it was just that thing of you get sparked out. All I seen is a big white light. I don't even remember the pain or anything like that, and I just got knocked out. And a taxi driver seen me flat out and got me in the car and took me to hospital.
Oh, did you, bless him?
Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah. I know. Cheers, pal. Yeah, and then there were other incidents. Yeah, with people.
And so, back to you then, Liam. So this is Mark's, that's it, his crushing point. But yours goes on for quite a period of time after. Did you sell your recruitment company?
Yeah, I think I talked about this the other day. We saw someone, I was like, I used to use with him, and I said, "You knocked about with gangsters and have all these funny stories." I said, "I just got wrecked all the time." Like, I was like, I don't have.
They don't,
I
he
think
keeps calling them funny stories everywhere he goes. He calls them funny stories. I'm like, I got
No,
hammers
the
on
funny
my head.
guys,
He's like,
funny guys.
no, Mike tells funny stories. I'm like, what?
No, but like, so I think with everything that went on when I was younger, and you know, like you said earlier, you can apply it to other things. I was driven, mate. I think there were times where I was like giving my mum money for shopping and stuff. You know what I mean? It was hard when my dad was away, and I always had something going. So I'd always have like, I think I sold donuts, pens, IDs, arranged dues.
But he actually had the donuts.
Yeah,
sell.
I did.
Right.
Yeah, I did, exactly. And mine weren't fresh air.
Yeah,
mine
you
was a
was legit.
legitimate business. Yeah, and I always had that kind of thing. So I always worked and all. And so I'm not one of these where I can say, "Oh, I did this and that for money." I didn't. I actually earned money. Do you know what I mean? And
So you was more of a functioning addict.
oh yeah, definitely. And that continued in work. You know, like I'm when my mind's on something, I can be good. Do you know what I mean? And stuff. So yeah, businesses and houses and all this sort of stuff and all that was along the way. And the company that I worked in went well. My career was going up, and when I went into the recruitment company, yeah, we made it a good success, and we did sell it, yeah. And it was that was another thing where I thought, we'll sell this, and it wasn't, wasn't small change, we'll sell this. That's it then. I was like, right, that'll be it. I can because I didn't enjoy recruitment, to be honest. I hated the industry. I think that it didn't work well. And in actual fact, and the selling process was really long-winded. I think it took over 2 years. And in that process was the first time, because the buyers, or one of the sets of buyers who we were like shortlisting, asked about my dad's past, and that nearly, what would that be, about 15 years later, was the first time I discussed him being away as well. Like, it was mad. It was like a really strange thing. But I was gone then. Like, I was using 24/7.
And so like coke and prescription drugs.
Yeah,
and
so like I'd do things like, so it'd be like I'd drink heavy, because if I got caught being a bit levered, I could say I was drinking. I needed something that I could say that's what I'm doing, visibly be doing something, do you know what I mean? So my drinking wasn't great. I was hammering coke, and then I'd be like diazes, Valium and all that sort of stuff to kind of do all that. It just all got a bit much. Like at the end when we were selling, I think I'd had enough, and I'd had all this double life stuff going on. I wasn't being a good person really, and I thought it's all going to come out.
How old was you at this point, like 30?
Probably around that, yeah. Probably with 29, 30 when we started
So
to
did
do
you
the
have
sale.
2 kids then?
Yeah, 2. Bridget arrived kind of in the worst of it, really, if I'm truthful. So I had like that. The work thing that wasn't doing me no favours, the sale process. And a lot of people die around me, and I'm not saying that makes anything else, but like because my head wasn't straight,
No, yeah,
I was like, I thought it was karma. I thought this is what you get for everything you've done, and I used to think like that. And then so this sale process going on, all this stuff with my dad was brought back, and then Vicky were pregnant with our 3rd kid. Vicky struggled a lot after her 3rd pregnancy, and I just used all the way through it. I was like probably sole carer while she was struggling when she first come out, and I was using, you know, it like bad. And yeah, so like I'm going into meetings. I said this to Mark before. Like, I'd go into meetings. There'd be a legal team, corporate finance. There'd be solicitors, this, that, and the other. And I'd be falling asleep in meetings. I wouldn't have slept for 2 days. I must have looked like an absolute mess. I was literally falling asleep, and my dad was going like that. And I'd like then go out and use to, you know, like, and come back in and stay nuts really. But we did manage to get it sold, and when it's sold, like I said, built it up to be this, right. When that happens, my money in the bank, I don't have to do this thing I don't like, and everything will be alright. 3 days after I sold it, I was kicked out of my house because I'd been caught cheating. That's the truth. Like, there's no good way of saying that, but I'm not gonna lie about it. That's what it was. I'd been caught cheating.
She just had a baby as well.
Yeah. It was just bad. It was just bad, and so I was kicked out. And then I just went on this, like, before I'd always like, I'd pretend I was alright, you know what I mean, I'd always be bothered at it. And then I just spent about a good few months just like, I weren't even bothered, I just weren't bothered. I was just 24/7 using, nowhere to be, no commitment, and a lot of money. And I just all went nuts, like, yeah. And still no one really knew at that time. But my behaviour were getting noticed, not so much my using, my behaviour. I'd never been away from my kids, you know what I mean, now I weren't in the house with them, and it was like, it just killed me, and like I said, all this other stuff going on, I thought everything would come in. I used to say, I used to have this thing in my mind, like a 10-step plan. Step 10 is I'm gone, and I figured I was on about step 7, 8, and there was nothing I could do, and all the people and all the bad stuff that was happening was karma for the years I'd had before. I had a really, really twisted way of thinking for quite a bit. And so yeah, it just kept getting worse, and then I started to get caught. That's what happened with me. So like, whereas people knew about Mark's gambling, and it weren't good, everyone thought I was a businessman or a Thai boxer or a family man or whatever.
Yeah.
What actually happened is everyone's eyes, like, they all realised what I was. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like it weren't good. And then yeah, it just all started coming out. And then I went back home. I managed to sort of work things out to a point, and went back home, and then I kept using, and I think that's when it started to hit me really. I can't stop again, and kept using even though I was trying to get things back on track. And then at Christmas everything came out, and like my family put a plan in place, and I got through like a dry Christmas for about 2 weeks, and then I was using again, and then I got caught. The amounts were getting stupid, my behaviour was getting erratic, and I crashed 4 cars in a week, I think it were. Things just weren't good, do you know what I mean? It was just bad.
Yeah, that's not great.
No.
Whose cars? Your cars?
Mine, Vicky's, the higher one that I had while mine were being fixed, I had to pay them. I was like paying managers off at Enterprise and everything. It weren't good.
You just got upset now.
It was a her. And so yeah, everything were getting a bit on top, and so I didn't really, if I'm honest, I didn't have that like, right, I need to go to rehab. My family decided that I needed to go to rehab. Yeah. And I just went along with anything, and so then I went in there, I went in there, and I went in, I was put in suicide room for a few days and all that, like, weren't in a good way and that, and then I thought, I honestly put everything into it, but Mark had started getting a bit nosy, whereas a lot of other people had kind of like, sort of given me a bit of a wide berth, he started getting a bit nosy, and kind of crossed paths a bit more.
I was getting told, when you said something then, you said about your using, it wasn't really that was getting noticed. It was because I remember people saying the amounts that you were bringing out and taking and stuff, and I'd be thinking, wow. And then I'd bumped it, like you say, I've let you say it, but I bumped into you a few times, so I knew what you were doing, and I knew the wheels of well and truly could come off.
Yeah. So he started sticking his nose in, and when I was in rehab, he was like supportive, you know, he wrote to me and texted me and phoned me and stuff and all that. And I did come out thinking, I honestly come out thinking I've had enough. Like I was tired. I was actually relieved everything had come out in the open, because I was like, I didn't have this thing, like I was looking over his shoulder all the time and that. But then when I come out, I don't know. I don't like people saying I weren't ready, because I'm like I'd had enough. You know what I mean? I think of it a bit differently, but I don't know if I'm right to do that. But I came out and I weren't ready. I was ready to get well, but I weren't ready for everything I'd left behind. I come out thinking like I'm gonna be all right, and then I came out, and obviously this successful person was no longer there. Like everyone looked at me different. I felt like everyone was just disappointed. I felt like, and I came out to a lot of a destruction really that I'd left behind. Stuff at home was obviously not good, you know. Really
and then no matter what your excuses are for that, that is incredibly difficult to
it was
to
hard.
forgive, even though because you've excused as well to me. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have been taking drugs. That, do you know? Vicky is like an incredible woman to be able to.
Yeah, well, she's along the way, and I look back now, and obviously I probably exaggerated every one of them. Do you know what I mean? I made it worse. But she'd done a lot of work on herself. It's kind of funny how things work out. I think she was strong when she needed to be. Do you know what I mean? She was like just funny how it works out, and then I kept relapsing. And when you've been in there, when everybody knows you've got a problem and you've been in there, you can't use the way that you did, because all eyes and ears are on you, everything else, and it just got really dark really quickly. If it were bad before, this was like another level. So like, the amounts, I genuinely, there were times I think I thought I'm just doing myself in, and like the amounts where I was using, I was never with anyone. I was like, it was bad. And again, Mark was sticking his nose in. I think Vicky was having discussions with him for advice and all that sort of stuff. Vicky made me plan my funeral at one point. Like she like made me write my intentions out for my kids on my birthday when I'm not here. So it was all, I think the hope and belief were just, because I couldn't do it. And then he kept, like I say, sticking his nose in probably, but I mean he was curving, but it was like relentless. And then I woke up one morning and Vicky was like, look, I can't have this chaos around the kids anymore, you need to go. Mark said you can stay with him, and I was on a train that day.
Yeah, because you'd moved away, hadn't you, Mark?
Yeah, because I went to rehab in the Midlands. I'd relocated there. It's the first time we ever really spoke about it in that much depth, but that thing of me sticking my nose in all honesty, if anybody, there's other lads that have been out of school, I'd always give them a message and say, with Liam, he had Vicky and he had a current friend, James, and they were both contacting me saying, what can we do? And I was sort of trying to be hard-hitting, and I said to James, and it's in one of his recordings that he does for us, I said, you're going to be planning his funeral soon if he doesn't stop. It's simple as. And I knew I'd bumped into him a few times. He was telling me that he weren't using as much and all that, and I knew it was all bullshit, that, because that's like me saying, well, I'm not going to bet on roulette, I'll bet on football.
Yeah.
So I knew the wheels had come off him when I was in the Midlands. So that thing of him saying they made this plan of Liam coming staying with me, in all honesty, it was as much as I was being supportive, that side of it was sprung on me. No, because Vicky was like very assertive, like going, I've never even told you this. But it was like, is he alright coming staying with you? And I was like, yeah, but I'm more thinking, I've got a 1-bedroom flat. Not for me, I'd have 10 people staying with me. I was more embarrassed or thinking that he would think that he didn't want to stay there.
Yeah.
So I contacted him and I said, look mate, you can come down and stay with me.
I remember him offering me to get an hotel.
But there's a nice hotel facing. I thought, he's got the money, he can stay in an hotel, he don't want to stay in my dingy flat. And he's like, no, I want to stay with you mate, I think I'll be safer with you. And I'm like, we're fine. So I jiggled my place about a little bit, moved a few ornaments in front rooms that were that small, and he turned up with a blow bed. And he literally turned
Blew it
up.
up every night, put it down every morning.
Yeah, it was that small, I
like,
couldn't even leave it up. It was like, well, like that in a flat.
Having crumpets every night. Like,
Is
oh,
that when you was like,
changed.
this is an all-time low?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's in fact.
No,
That
I
is
was
his
living with Mark Mirror.
Yeah, he goes. Sometimes we're in school doing a presentation. He goes, and I'm going a bit like being kidnapped, and he goes, and he ended up on a blow-up bed in his front room. And I'm like, that's great, isn't it?
At least you weren't kidnapped, mate.
No, but when he turned up, God, it's mad looking at him now because just defeated. I remember him getting off the train. He looked like a friggin' 8-year-old little lad getting off the train, meeting somebody. And he's like smoking. I didn't even know he smoked. I'm like, do you smoke? I'm smoking in mine. And then
Not take the kitchen window.
yeah. And then and really so that time of him sort of coming living with me, he always says Mark helped me like establish my recovery, but he saved my life. He saved mine because my recovery, as much as it was strong, I wasn't gambling. I was proper alone. I was still away from all my friends and family 4 years after stopping gambling, coming home at the weekends. So him coming down and me feeling like I had a purpose, not just focusing on getting my illness sorted, helping a mate out and watching him sort of turn things around, it saved my life as well, or certainly turned my life around.
Yeah. And so then, how long did you live with each other for?
4 months, yeah, about 4 or 5 months, yeah.
And then you come back up living with Vicky?
Yeah. So down there and then came back up, started to try and put it in place at home. Yeah.
And so when did you come back on?
I came back up about 12 months later, so I was coming back. So we'll go back to that. We started having discussion. Literally, it was like I'd been mates with Liam all through my 20s, but it was more like bumping each other at a wedding or a family dues, whatever it might be. And we'd always shared the same best mate, really, and Mez. He's really close to Mez, I'm close to Mez. And it was sort of that thing, but so we were catching up really, and we started talking about school. And I'm like, what, you started using drugs at school? And he's like, you were gambling at school? And then we went on to, he had a recruitment company, I was a QS, and we were like, wouldn't have thought you were an addict. And he's going, wouldn't have thought you were an addict, I knew what was going on. And we just smashed all stereotypes of addicts whose life had been ruined. And really, that's when we started thinking, wise up. Like, this is what...
I thought there's something in it. What we've lived is different to what we thought of addiction and all that, and we just thought there's something in this. I bet there's a lot of people who think the addict is just this one type and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, everybody would do it, unless you've experienced it or somebody close to you has experienced it. But I think now it's becoming more known from people like yourselves that functioning addicts, there is such thing, and there's people who you wouldn't think are, and then they turn out to being like, oh, it makes sense actually. You was a bit erratic that every time I saw you. And so you moved back up north then, because you was like, oh, we should do something to help other people, or there's some foundations in this.
Yeah, there were a foundation there. We started having this chat. I had something upcoming at Parliament, and I thought I can sort of table this idea at Parliament whilst I'm doing it. We're a bit clever how I did it really. I said I did this speech about being sorry to my mum, and my mum was there, and then I sort of hit him in the face and wise up. So they're all going, what's this wise up? So we were sort of...
What do you mean at Parliament?
I got asked to do it.
He's a bit of a success story of his rehab, and they wheel him out because there's not many gamblers who recover like Mark has. You know, because it's legal and stuff, and because because there's no test for it. Like, you could test me for drugs and alcohol, you can't test a gambler. So for someone to be 6 years in and not have relapsed is massive. And so his rehab wheel him out. He doesn't sell that enough. I say sell it. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't. It's not. There's a reason they ask him every time. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a good success story.
So to Parliament, like the aids of the Parliament.
So all right.
What, you go chatting to MPs and that?
Oh,
that's a nice easy start.
Ali Sugar, he's a lord, isn't he? So he was walking about, and Boris Johnson and all them was there, John Prescott.
No way.
And what I did is, my mum, they said your mum can come as well. So what they wanted is a speech on me turning my life around. So I literally started off from childhood, my mum bringing me up well, being successful at sport, gambling, what it did to me and what it did to my family. And then it was an apology to my mum. So my mum was stood there, my mum starts crying her eyes out, and people are crying and all that. But then the final bit was, and recently a friend that's sort of been in an addiction as well has come living with me, and we realised, you know, we can put our experiences to a lot of good now instead of bad. And we've formed something called Whysup. Really, it was just an idea. We'd not even delivered it anywhere.
Yeah.
But people were like, "Whoa, what's Whysup?" You know. And then they started asking about it. Then we had to go and like, let's get it going. So it was formed, and the idea is from a pretty special time in our lives, and it's about two schoolmates reconnecting and thinking this idea. And it's weird, the timing of it all, like you said, addiction, mental health, it seems just have all just come to the forefront, and we've not timed it that way, and we believe in fate.
I think it was just like maybe our generation though. Do you
it's
not think that
itself.
though? It is like our generation, because the ones before, even now it's still not a big thing for mental health in my mum's era. But in our era, this seems to be the area where it's making all these changes, where everybody is a bit more of a trioga and is openly, oh, these are my feelings, this is my thing, let's all talk about mental illness and all the rest of it. So it's brought it out more, so people are getting better, I guess, are becoming better humans. But it does seem to be, it's the generational thing.
Yeah, and you've got to go through, like, we were like 10 plus years, and I think you've got to go through that to see all the damage it can cause, to think you want to do something about it. So we are probably that generation of the first one to start and speaking up.
Yeah.
Also, what's
because before it was like people, even if they would have recovered, there's still this shame thing, and we don't talk about things. Whereas our era is a bit like, it's fine to have a mental illness. It's fine to be an ex-addict. People can still forgive you. That's what I wanted to ask you. So, like, what are the relationships like? So you're 2 years in, you're 6 years in, and there's still people that were like, I will never speak to you again. Or is pretty much everybody now like, right, you've proved yourself. It's been 6 years, 2 years.
My family. I'll go back to Parliament. My mum came seeing me. I thought it was a mega day. My mum was like so proud of me. She's hugging me on the train on the way home. She didn't speak to me. I was like, "What are you doing?" Sort of thing. And she was sort of saying, "Yeah, well, it might have been all right for you, but it wasn't all right for me. That's just brought it all back." And I had this attitude that once I sort my problems out, everyone's got to come along with me.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I'm sorted now, and it's all right. I'm not affecting you. I'm not coming to you for money. What's your problem? In reality, you can't control that side. They might be like that for the rest of their life, and I've learned that. I'm still learning it now. Things don't sort of all fall into place. If anything, things happen now, and because I can't run away to gambling, I've got to deal with things, real life issues, family stuff. Friends I've got some cracking friends who've been supportive. People who I owe money to, I'm in contact with most of them. And when I say I'm not paid anything, I've paid quite a big chunk of money off. And yeah, what my life is now, it's about honesty. So I just don't bullshit. So if I know I've not got the money to give someone, I say, look, I've not got it, and I'm just honest.
Yeah.
Both our recovery, you can't tell a lie. That's what recovery is. You cannot lie. So if you need
Never. What if you farted and left?
Well, you don't start when I fart.
There's a difference between not saying and lying.
yeah, you cannot say anything. Yeah. Excuse me, can you smell that? Is me?
I just need you for know because I'm in recovery. No, I'm an ex-addict as well.
No, but it can get quite, if people ask you, you be honest. But that's the biggest thing for me, it's not having that pressure on my shoulders that you're lying, and lying is so tiring, and it's like anything in life. If someone were cheating, if someone were doing whatever, that lie, it crushes
That's
you.
the worst part of any kind of drama, though, isn't it? Because generally the problem is you can deal with whatever the problem is, or the other people can deal with it as well. When you're lying to them, you think you're doing it for them, but really it's for selfish reasons. Because if somebody cheated on me, I'd want to know, and then it's my decision if I stay with you or not. So don't stress yourself out worrying about it. just tell me. And the same with like drugs though.
If Harrison's listening to this, he'll be like, whoa, I'm not cheating on her. You better tell me.
You better tell me.
Yeah.
You might wake up with no balls, but you better tell me.
Yeah, you made that sound
But
very
I mean-
business like that. It's my decision. I will get rid of you. I make the decision.
No, but that's how it should be. In the same with like if you was taking all the drugs you was taking, then Vicky should have had that choice of do I want this around me and the children, because it's not knowing what's going on with you as well. Like, is there just something wrong with him? Is it me?
That was one
All
the
of these
biggest things,
things
that.
that when really it is just all you.
Yeah, but what if we're a narcissist and thought, you know, we'll just tell them you don't want to hurt someone you love, so you carry on and you try and get out of it, and you think you don't want, and you know the wheels are coming off, but you don't. It's hard to turn around to someone and say, by the way, I've done X, Y, and Z. I've done this. I've done that. You don't want to find out because literally, I used to be in bed at night with my girlfriend, and I'd be thinking, when you find out about me, the truth about me, you're gonna leave me, and it'd be like crushing me. I'd be thinking, and then I'd be up in the morning, I'd be like, do you want a brew? Like nothing, and she just didn't. She even always like, I was into all these different people. And then it came out, and she's like, I don't even know I've been in a relationship with. I'm like, of course you do. But she didn't, because I actually lived a double life, which is like Liam, Vicky not knowing.
That was the biggest thing with Vicky. When everything come out, she was like, I don't know who I've been with. Like, it's not what I thought I was in a relationship with, isn't it?
Because you was together when you were 17, weren't you?
15, 16 actually, yeah. It was like 18 years coming up now.
With like half of her life she was with
Yeah,
somebody she didn't know inside out.
Yeah, and when I went in rehab, she always says, when I come out, she said, I'm frightened because I don't know who's coming home. Like, that's what she used to say, which was pretty hard. But that honesty thing's hard. I remember on the one hand, like, I was like, I don't want to lie anymore. On the other hand, in order to be honest, I was like, I'm going to have to destroy everything with everybody, you know, in order to tell them. And I remember I met him once in a Morrison's cafe just before I went treatment.
Is this like a thing across the board when you're an addict, like you can never lie again?
Yeah, well,
Is it
that's
you
my
too?
recovery. I can't tell. Like, I do it with Vicky. I'll go like that and I'll say something, and sometimes my default is a little lie, and it's not even like malicious, and I'm like, oh, Vicky, I've just told you a lie. Like, I have to like tell her, and that is, it's honestly.
What if
it's
she
hard.
said like, do I look fat in this?
I tell the truth, mate.
Would you?
Yeah,
Even
I'm
if
dead
she-
honest.
oh,
She
yeah,
always
I mean,
asks me,
them lies
no,
can
do you
be
know
a
what?
lie.
She-
I
do you know
must
what?
still
Well,
lie
first
then.
of all, she never looks fat. First of all, she never looks fat, right? I'll get that out.
Yeah.
But actually, with clothes and that, she always asks me my opinion, 'cause I'm dead honest with her. She's like, does this go? And I'll go, no, it doesn't, you need to change that. I'm good with stuff like that. I'll tell her. So I am
What about
honest,
you,
like-
Mark?
I think I'm good to get changed. I'm good at it.
Set that off, love. You're not coming out with me like that.
Maybe I lie then.
Oh, look, you've been sat here all this time lying.
No,
to
do you
us
know
about-
what? Because of what? It's usually my mum. I'm just not like my mum always goes, "What do I look like in this?"
Oh, don't say. Imagine if your mum that's
You've got a relationship back on
No,
track.
do you know what it is? I don't even have any. Oh God, it sounds really bad. This. Sorry, mum. No, but my mum asks me all the time, "What do I look?" And I just always say, "Good." Oh God, am I going to get out of this now? Have you got a space?
She always does look good.
No, yeah, but no, I'm just not that interested.
No, but that's
I'm
that's
just-
that's
different.
different.
That's
Yeah,
different.
That's
Right.
different. Unless you knew, like, actually she doesn't look good and you're just being polite, then
No,
that's the
my mum
problem.
always looks good.
I
I'm trying to
remember-
think. Yeah, I'm pretty honest. Yeah.
I remember sitting in his flat once and like just started to get well and all that, and he said, "So his things with Vicky." I said, "Oh, it's dead good now. When she does maiden, I just tell her." And I thought that it was like, and I thought
Yeah.
that's true, that, because like it sounds like a daft comment, but like we do have a proper, open, straight
Well, you
relationship.
see, this would be better for you. So now obviously you've had all the shit and that, but now building your new foundations. I would rather be with somebody who's dead. Don't call me fat. Like, don't do that. But I mean, I'd rather be with somebody. Whereas if I was doing the wedding, then you should be able to say actually being, and then you have that open relationship.
It's not easy
and
sometimes,
it's
but
a more
better.
honest, it's a more
Yeah.
truer relationship, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you get it out there rather than it being in your mind, and then you're like, oh, I can't fucking stand them. I'm gonna go out and get pissed.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that's what leads to all the shit, though, isn't
Yeah.
it? Whereas
You
if
say
you just
that.
say I can't stand you, then
Yeah.
You say that though, but if you can imagine being with somebody and they're not being honest and all that, then to go into a place, a rehab, come out and be all this honest person,
yeah,
it's quite a big gap.
takes work.
So when I was like all different with my mum and all controlled and like I was, and she used to go, you're acting like a guru, and I'd be like, it started annoying her that I was being so normal. I think like she'd gone from one extreme
It's
of people.
adjustment on both sides, isn't
It is, and it was like she's, and it is a massive change. We call, say, the addictions a family illness.
Yeah.
It's everybody. And like with my mates now, I'm like, oh, you can't do that. And I'm like, oh, shut up. Wise up, Mark. Wise up. That's what they always say to me. But
yeah, I think we was out the other week, and I must have heard about 40 different people say, "Wise up, Mark."
I'm like, I went pine. I went, oh. Yeah, so it's a massive change for us, and it's a massive change.
And so tell us about Wise Up. So what is it that you're doing now? So obviously that's all of the story behind it, but then you've decided to start a business, but also a charity as well.